Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias. Guess I'm still on a Bird Trout Knife Kick. This is a knife I picked up a while back. It's the Bird Son 563 Bird Trout knife. It is very similar to the old Queen Bird Trout knife, the number 85, I think, Bird Trout knife by Queen. And when this came out, I was really excited about it because it was listed as coming in India Stag and Rosewood. And I decided to go ahead and grab the India Stag because, well, it was supposed to be Stag. Well, it turned out the small print after the fact was it was an India Stag, even though several places were selling it as genuine India Stag. It was actually bone stag or bone jigged to look like stag. And the jigging on it was absolutely awful. And this was my initial impression of the knife and that so-called stag handle they had. I decided to go ahead and splurge and get the 563 small genuine India Stag knife. They have this knife in two handle materials. Genuine India Stag as listed here, and the other one is in rosewood. The knife is basically similar to what you see here, the Rough Rider Small Hunter. This one in genuine Stag. That goes for about 20 bucks, but made in China. So this is what you're going to get for the Bear Son genuine India Stag Small Hunter, and for $43, made in the USA. Now, before I show you the knife, let's show you the picture that is shown everywhere advertising the Bear Son Cutlery genuine India Stag Small Hunter 563. Take a look at it. There you have it. That's what it's supposed to look like. Overall, the quality of this knife is excellent. My complaint is the handle there. If you're going to have on the box that something is genuine India Stag, I would hope that the handle is genuine India Stag. And to tell you the truth, if this is genuine India Stag, then it has got to be at least second cut India Stag, which means it's the inside portion of the stag, and then they have done this cutting into it themselves to try and make it look like India Stag, which is interesting because almost every retailer out there lists the handle in the big print as India Stag, but then in the small print it says India Stag Bone. So which is it, Bear Son Cutlery? Is this genuine India Stag? And if it is genuine India Stag, is it second cut India Stag? Or is it something else? Is this actually a bone stag that is supposed to be India Stag? Because what it looks like is bone that somebody took a Dremel tool to and then torched a little bit. And if that is India Stag, that was one pathetic India Sandbar deer that you got it off of. That just does not look very good at all. And that would be my suggestion to anybody who's interested in picking up this knife. Unless you're really crazy about the jigging on this knife, go ahead and get it in rosewood. It's going to be about $4 or $5 cheaper, and I think it looks better in the rosewood. But if this is a India Stag, I don't know. That's the only thing that disappointed me about this knife. I wish it would have looked like the India Stag that they showed in the picture. This just doesn't look very good at all for an India Stag. That is the worst stag I've ever seen. It is even the worst bone stag I have ever seen. I wish I would have just saved myself $2 or $3 and grabbed the rosewood instead, and I would have been much happier with the knife. And so I've had this knife now for well over a year and have done nothing with it because I was so disappointed in it. I never bought the rosewood one because, well, that's what happens when you're disappointed with a knife. You definitely don't want to go and spend more money with it. But we have two other things in front of us here, and one of them is this. This is my Craftsman variable speed rotary tool. There's a trademark company that also has one of these things. It's called a Dremel tool. This is the same thing, but it was by Craftsman. And what we have here at the tip is actually an engraving bit. So you can turn this on and like engrave with it. And what we have here is a very inexpensive little torch that you can get from like Dollar General or Family Dollar and a couple other places. I can't remember where I picked this one up at, but it, you see here, it's all the way up. It actually has a lock on the side, kind of a safety feature. Push that lock forward, and if we turn it on, you see that it puts out a blue flame, and this is a very hot blue flame, hot enough to actually torch bones. So if you're looking for something you can torch bone with and you don't want to invest into the whole propane tank and torch and everything else, consider one of these little things. You can get them for about $3-4 or so at numerous stores. Just look for something like this. And I decided to go a little nuts with my Bird Trout knife from Bear Son. Now you saw what the handle looked like. What I did was I took my rotary tool and I just started cutting lines into it, back and forth, up and down, every which way but loose, basically. And I did that on both sides. So it doesn't really match because there was no rhyme or reason to it. Probably should have thought a little more of it, but I really didn't care how it came out. I just wanted to hide what was in there to begin with, and I think I managed to do that pretty well. And then after I did that, I hit it with this, you know, did some, oh, by the way, while I was doing all that, the blade was all taped up with blue painter's tape so I wouldn't cut myself. But then I hit the handle with the torch, boom, 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 and I burnt the bone. And I burned the bone with this little lighter here, which was very hot. And after I did that, I put a little coon pee on it, wiped it all down, and then cleaned it off with some water. And this was the end result. So you tell me, is this a better looking handle than what we had before? Or what I had before? Because now at least it's something that when I look at it on the wall, I'm not going to look at it with disdain, because I really was not at all happy with the way this looked before. I think my next step though is I might end up soaking this bone in hot tea for a while and seeing what it looks like if I can get this bone a little more browned off or something. Well, contrary to my normal behavior, I decided rather than wait 4 years, I would just go ahead and soak it in some hot tea now. And I did that. I soaked it for about an hour. It was just like a 8-ounce cup with 3 tea bags in there. I reheated the tea a couple times to keep it hot, because the hotter the tea, the more it soaks into the bone. And this is the end result so far. I think I'm pretty happy with it. Now you don't see the white lines from where the jigging was done into the bone. All in all, I think I'm much happier with the knife now than the way it was originally. Now, I'm sure someone out there is looking at it going, nope, it looked better before. And that's fine for you. Not as fine for me. I'm much happier with it now. I can still see some remnants of the original jigging that was done in there, but that's okay also. I think all in all, I just like the way it looks with the highlights, with the burnt bone and everything else. I would not call this genuine India Stag anymore. I would just call it a brown jig bone, I guess, or burnt brown jig bone, maybe something like that. The thing is I went and also looked online, and Blade HQ is still selling this knife as genuine Stag. Bear Son still lists it as India Stag bone, so they're not quite lying about it, but the boxes probably still say genuine India Stag. I don't know for certain. It's not genuine Stag unless something has changed in the last 4 years. And also the photos I'm seeing online show a much nicer looking Stag than what was originally on this knife. Now, this was a sample size of 1. I do know that. Maybe Bear Son has improved the way they're doing the genuine Stag, genuine India Stag, which is actually stag bone. In any case, so you don't have to actually go back to the original video on this. This is the 563 Bear Son Small Hunter. Blade steel in it is 440A, so it is very similar to what you will find in your Rough Rider Small Hunter. And the blade shape is very similar to the Rough Rider. The handle is a little thicker than what you find on the Rough Rider, as you can see right there, especially at the pommel. It is also a little larger than the old Queen 85 pattern knife. You can see that in this picture here. But all in all, it is a solid, well-made knife. The bone is nicely pinned in place. The pins here are still in there nice and well, even after all the work with the Dremel tool that I was using, or the rotary tool. Nice and flush. The bone is nice in there too. The pommel is held on quite well. All in all, you know, you've got the nickel silver pommel. I believe it's nickel silver. This was I believe it's a brass guard. It might be nickel silver as well. It's hard to say. It might be brass pins or it might be nickel silver. I do not remember. For that, you will have to check the original. But it is well pinned. The handles are on there nice and snug. Blade is nice and sharp, came pretty sharp. I wouldn't call it razor sharp, but it was nice. And you definitely have a good mirror polish that is showing up with every fingerprint imaginable on there. So let me try and wipe some fingerprints off here. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Really nice knife. It is still in stock in a number of places. Like I said, I've seen it at Blade HQ and a few other places. I can't recall every spot. The sheath that comes with it is really nice. It's a very well made sheath. It's just stitched on the back here. I would have liked to have seen a rivet there, but if they did rivet it, then that rivet would probably be hitting the bone and such, and that would maybe scratch it up a little bit. You do have 3 brass rivets and a nicely sewn sheath here, and it is, you know, the burnishing here is very nice too. So all in all, I'm very happy with it. I believe the price is around $60 right now, but the handle, I don't know what it's going to look like. That is really the thing. So unless you were happy with the original handle that you saw here, just remember that might be the kind of handle that you're going to see. I don't know. In any case, there you have it. I'm pretty happy with the end results of what I have now. Now I might actually do something with it. With my Bear Son Small Hunter with a jigged bone handle. It is not India Stag. me take just a second to thank you once again for dropping by and spending a few minutes here at Knife Chats with the Pious. I really do appreciate it, and I do appreciate any comments that you leave. So please remember to give me that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is up and running. Thanks again for dropping by. Really do appreciate your time here.